So I would like to welcome you into week 2. For those of you that are catching up on the video afterwards as well, welcome to your second practice. So today is all about a complete rebirth into the body. For those of you that know, see what I did there. So our practice this evening is more of a restorative style of yoga, more of a yin-based style of yoga. So think much longer holds within your postures, much more of a gentle release within your body. So rather than targeting all the superficial muscle that we have on the outside of your skeleton, we're looking more at your tendons, your ligaments, and getting right into your joints. So to be able to do that, we have to hold your postures for a little bit longer. So much more relaxing. Complete reset on your nervous system tonight. So there's a couple of things that you might want to make sure you've got to one side before we begin. I would advise you get a big pillow, even 2 if you want to have 2. I've popped one at each end of my mat because it's easier for me whilst I'm teaching you online. So you only need 1, but I would maybe get 2 just in case. It also helps if you've got a form of pillow spray. Mine seems to have run away. It's gone somewhere. If anybody wants anything like that, just let me know and I can order that for you and get you that, no problem. Nice lavender one would be quite nice. If you've got a block, I would also highly advise that you get a block. If you don't, please don't worry. You can even use something as simple as a book to do the exact same thing. We just need something that's a couple of inches deep and we're just going to use that a little bit later. So if you have got a block or something like a big book, we can use that as well. And then I would also advise if you have any essential oils, we're going to use those within our practice today. It's not completely mandatory, so if you don't have them, please don't worry. The practice is going to be exactly the same for you. You can even use something like a nice perfume, even like a nice body lotion, something that you've got that smells amazing and that you get a really good feeling from. So the oils that I'm going to use, I would recommend rosemary oil and lavender oil to complement this practice. So for those of you that have got your goddess box this week, you should have some rosemary and some lavender oil in there. The lavender is my favorite and it smells absolutely amazing. It is the purest of the pure essential oil. So I would pop them to one side just for a second as well for me. Make sure you've got a glass of water. I always want you to stay hydrated whilst you do your practice. And if you want to make yourself a warm cup of tea, that will go quite nice with your practice as well. So not dynamic, not super active tonight. Your heart rate's going to stay nice and low for me. And we're going to completely reset your nervous system. Within our practice tonight, I want you to feel as comfortable as possible. This is about creating a sense of comfort and not a sense of discomfort. So if at any time you feel like you're in quite a lot of pain, just come out of your posture, just come into a child's pose. Don't feel like you have to hold postures and be in mass amounts of discomfort and pain. You really don't. What I'm going to invite you to do this evening is take your time, completely slow down and let yourself pause. Let yourself stop and be still. If you are like me, you probably spend 95% of your life rushing around from one thing to another, from task to task, and you probably never really let yourself stay still. I'm going to invite you this evening to do the complete opposite and let yourself pause and have that rest. Yin is kind of like a moving meditation anyway. So we're going to begin there this evening. When you're ready, I'm going to ask you to cross your legs for me and come into your meditation posture. If that's not comfortable for you, that is okay. Just take a little lay down on your mat. That's absolutely fine. If you do have a block or a cushion, you can pop that underneath your coccyx just to elevate up through your hips. So by doing that, we take the stress, we take the strain out of your hip joint. So for some people, it feels a little bit more comfortable if you sat a little bit higher up. So however you feel the most comfortable, when you're ready, coming into your meditation posture, eye gaze closed. You can just let your palms rest in your lap or on your knees, or even down on the ground, fingertips touching the floor. So again, whatever feels best for you. We're going to start in meditation today. Settling into your posture. Now, the idea of meditation is not to stop your thoughts. It's not to block your thoughts out. having an awareness of your thoughts without engaging in them, and then bringing your awareness back to something else. Usually use your breath or your body. So please don't feel like you're not very good at meditation if you can't stop your thoughts. Nobody can. And that's not what meditation is about. Begin by pressing your tailbone down into the ground, almost as if you're plugging yourself into your practice. Start to travel up through your spine, one vertebra at a time. Letting any tension in the hips, any tension in the tummy to relax. Lift up from your heart center, make all that space between your ribs. Give yourself the opportunity to breathe fully and deeply. Soften into your shoulders and send that wave of relaxation all the way down into your hands, all the way into your fingertips. Keeping your chin parallel to the floor, your nose pulled in line with your belly button. Take a breath all the way up through your spine until you pull yourself tall from the crown of your head. And if you haven't already, starting to notice how you breathe in this evening. Are you taking full deep breaths? And if you're not, start to let yourself take those full deep breaths in through your nose and out through either your nose or your mouth. Not too much control, not too much force, just let that breath naturally roll in. And roll back out of the body. Keeping your eyes closed, place one hand over the center of your chest, just covering your heart center. The opposite hand to cover your belly button and your belly. Just gentle with your touch. Starting to take a deep diaphragmatic breath, breathe right down into the depths of your belly, that bottom hand to lift away from your spine as far as possible. On the exhale, the hand to drop back in towards the spine. If it helps, I'm going to invite you to start to count 4 seconds on your inhalation. Mentally repeating the numbers as you go, 1 to 4. Counting to either a 4 or a 5 to start off with on your exhalation, and mentally repeating the numbers 1 to 4 or 1 to 5 as you go. Inhaling for 4 and exhaling for either 4 or 5. You feel like you've got a steady rhythm with your breath. I'm going to invite you to mentally repeat the words, I am calm. I am calm on your inhale. I am calm on your exhale. One more full cycle of breath, 4 seconds. I am calm on the inhale. Either 4 or 5 seconds. I am calm on the exhale. And then when you feel like you've finished that cycle of breath, just opening your eyes for me. Just bringing your awareness back into the room that you find yourself in. So what we're going to do is a little bit of something called either emotional freedom tap-in or emotional stress release. They're exactly the same thing. They just sometimes have different names. So if you are using some essential oil or you are using some perfume or some lotion, what I'm going to ask you to do is put just a tiny little bit onto the tips of your fingers for me. So not too much. You don't have to lather it on, just a little bit. And then what I'm going to ask you to do is just tap it very, very gently into your temples. Just be careful around your eyes, of course. Just a little tap around the temples, little tap around your wrists on both sides. And then rub your hands together. Any excess, just allow it to absorb into your hands. And then when we start our EFT or our EFR, ask you to take your first 2 fingers, so your peace fingers on both hands. Now on your forehead, you've got a little bit of a bump, then a ridge, and then down into your eyebrows. Some people it's really prominent, some people it's quite soft, so don't worry if you find it tricky to find. It's about midway up your forehead, just resting above where the arch of your eyebrows is. So taking your first 2 fingers, see if you can find that ridge of where that bump ends and the rest of your forehead begins. And then just close your eyes and very gently tap into your forehead. Little light taps. Revisit your diaphragmatic breath. Take a big, deep breath in through your nose. Fill down into the depths of your belly. And then exhaling, fully emptying the body as you exhale. Stay with your tiny little taps. This time on your inhale, mentally repeating the words, I am calm. And the same again on the exhale, mentally repeating the words, I am. One more cycle of breath. Just staying with those light taps on your head. And then when you've finished, let your hands release. Take a big deep breath in through your nose. And let yourself sigh it out on your exhale. This time we're going to take the first 2 fingers of your right hand and just gently tap onto the outside of your left wrist. Again, just mentally repeating those words, I am calm. We're just working with different meridians and different acupressure points in your body this evening. And then swap sides for me, little taps on your wrist. Good, and then stop. This time we're going to take your thumbs out. So thumbs turned up for me, and then into the apples of your cheeks. So if you do a little smile, find where the apples of your cheeks are. We're going to press your thumbs right underneath, and then almost as if you're hooking underneath the apple. and then pulling it up towards the ceiling. If it helps, wrap your hands around your head. It's almost like you're hooking underneath with the tip of your thumb, that juicy part of your cheek. So for some people, that's quite an intense acupressure point. Please don't worry. Hold it there. You can be quite firm with the pressure that you apply. Staying with your deep diaphragmatic breath, breathing with intention, slow deep breaths. Release your thumbs this time. We're going to tuck underneath your eye socket, so right into the upper corners of your eye, just underneath where your eyebrows start. Again, we're going to hook underneath with the tips of your thumbs, and almost as if you're pulling up into your head. Keep your fingers wrapped around your head. So again, quite an intense acupressure point for some people. If your eyes start to twitch, don't worry. We're almost releasing those little tiny muscles all around your eyes. Stay with your diaphragmatic breath, big deep breaths. In for 4 seconds. We're going to use those counts as a mindfulness anchor this evening. Out for either 4 or 5 seconds. We're going to make that exhalation slightly longer soon. Or staying with that mental repetition of our affirmation, I am calm. Good, and then let your hands release. So from here, I'm going to ask you to squeeze your teeth together, clench your jaw. Put your hand on the side of your jaw for me, and you'll get a little bit of muscle, so your masseter muscle, that it'll just slightly stick out. So squeeze your back teeth as hard as you possibly can. So where you can find that bit of muscle that's sticking out, I want you to press your thumbs down into that part of the muscle. Wrap your fingertips back around your head, and then let your bottom set of teeth drop to the floor. Again, you can be quite firm with your pressure. Really press your thumbs, the meaty part of your thumbs, into the meaty part of that masseter muscle. If it feels nice for you, you can make little circles. That'll help to relieve some tension there as well. As women, we tend to hold quite a lot of tension in the jaw. Noticing any sensations. Where does that spread to? Where can you feel that in the head? Staying with your diaphragmatic breath. And then let your hands release. Amazing. Take a big deep breath in, arms up and overhead, inhale. As you exhale, pull hands into heart center, pause and hold that there. And then see if you can connect your forearms, see if you can connect your elbows and squeeze them together, activating the whole of the front of your chest and starting to activate through your anahata, your heart chakra. So big squeeze into forearms, squeeze into elbows, and then see if you can lift your elbows in line with your nose. On your inhalation, take a turn over to the right-hand side. Might feel quite restrictive, please don't worry. If that movement is really small, just stay with that squeeze between forearms. Coming back into center, inhale. And then exhale over to the left-hand side, trying to keep the elbows high, tailbone still plugged down. Coming back into center, inhale. See if you can lift your elbows one more time. Exhale and take your fingertips out to the sides of your mat. So spread them wide. Take a big deep breath in. As you exhale, drop your chin down onto your chest. Take a big dive forwards, keeping the tailbone pressed down into the ground. Crown of the head down towards the floor. Just holding that there, gentle decompression for your spine. Feel free to take your head from side to side, especially if you've had quite a stressful day. Hopefully you've had a nice Easter weekend. If you do feel quite stressed at the moment, just let your head rock from shoulder to shoulder. Good, and then take a roll back into the center, breathing in as you lift your chest. So you stay where you are. I'm just going to move to the side so you can see what we're going to do from here. Take your hands to your lower back and interlace your fingers for me. So we've got your knuckles pointing down, lift up tall into your chest. Inhale as you do, squeeze your shoulder blades together. Exhale, revisit your dive forwards. Take a big dive down. Only this time, as you come down in towards the floor, start to see if you can take your arms up and over the top of your head. So knuckles pressed up towards the ceiling. Tailbone still pressed down in towards the ground. If you get a few clicks in your spine or even in your neck, please don't worry, we're just realigning your spine. As always, you have freedom in your practice with me, so if you want to gently rock from side to side, that's absolutely fine, whatever feels best for you. If that's too intense on your shoulders, bring your hands back down to the floor. On your next inhale, see if you can go slightly further forward with the knuckles. And then exhale, bring your hands back down towards the ground and lift up into your chest. Well done. Coming up onto your shins for me. So we're going to make a little space between your knees. Big toes touching at the back for me. So keeping that connection between the left toe and the right big toe. Take a big deep breath in. Lift your arms up and overhead. Hands into fists. Thumbs sticking out. And then just connect the tip of your left and your right thumb, activating both sides of the brain, letting them communicate and finding a little bit of balance and harmony in your body. Your tailbone still down into the ground, crown of your head pulled tall, index fingers touch together. By all means, take a little look at your hands if you need to, and then middle fingers together. Ring fingers together and then little fingers together. Take a big deep breath in, reach to the ceiling. As you exhale, bring your hands into your heart center. Just in front of your face, take a big deep breath in, breathe all of that essential oil into your body and let it soothe your nervous system. Interlace your fingers, take them to the back of your head for me. This time, as you inhale, lift up into your chest, take an arch through your spine, squeeze your shoulder blades together, and then pull your elbows as far apart from one another as you possibly can. Really gentle back bend. As you exhale, drop your chin down into your chest, this time round through your spine. Drop your elbows in towards one another. Very gently pressing on the back of your head, so trying not to push your head down to the floor. I want you to think more about elongating your spine, almost as if you're trying to pop your head off. Good, coming back into the center, finding your neutral of your spine. So when we say your neutral, completely different for us all, but your tailbone down, crown of your head tall, arms back, up and overhead, inhale, hands in fists, thumbs, tips of thumbs touching left to right. Tailbone down, crown of the head up, and then index fingers touching. Middle fingers touching. Ring fingers touching and then little fingers touching. Inhale, make your upper body as long as you possibly can with your shoulders down. Exhale and bring your hands back into heart center. Take a big deep breath in. Breathe all of that essential oil back into the body. Interlace your fingers, wrap your hands around the back of your head. Take a big deep breath in, little arch into the lower back, lift up into your chest. Squeeze your shoulder blades together, elbows far apart, and then exhale, drop your chin down onto your chest. Round through your spine and bring your elbows in together. Again, thinking about the back of your head rather than pressing it down to the floor, imagine you lengthening through your spine. Into a neutral spine for me. So making sure the tailbone is down, relax your hands, the crown of the head pulled tall. We're going to go into something called a lion flex from here. So we're just going to stay on your shins just for one more pose, and then we're going to move from here. Place your hands down in front, spread all of your fingers out, so we have a straight line from your wrist to your shoulder. As you inhale, revisit the arch through your lower back, lift up into your chest, take a big deep breath in. Eye gaze up towards the ceiling as high as your neck will allow. You're stretching through the front of your throat. As you exhale this time, round through your spine, chin tucked into chest and pressing down into the floor. So just like you would if we were in a cat and a cow posture. Really, really similar, just a different posture here slightly. And again, inhale back into the center, round through your spine, look up through your eyes up towards the ceiling. Take a big deep breath in, so that arch in your lower back, shoulder blades together. And then exhale round through your spine, chin tucked down, look down towards the ground. We'll do one more breath together here. Inhale, arch through your spine. Take that stretch into your belly. Look as high up as you possibly can. This time, I want you to stick your tongue out, stretch your tongue as much as you possibly can. And then exhale around through your spine, chin tucked down, press down into the base of your palms, down through the floor. Starting with your pelvis, bring your pelvis back into neutral and then travel up through your vertebrae one at a time until you're lifting from the crown of your head. Last posture here. Inhale, arms up and overhead. As you exhale, drop the left hand down towards the floor, reach up, reach over with the right arm into a side bend. You want to come further, take that top arm further back, further away from the body. Right hand down to ground, opposite side, arms up and overhead, inhale. As you exhale, right hand down to the ground, left arm up and overhead into a side bend, gentle press through the right palm. Look underneath your left arm. If you want to go further, let that top arm drop back, reaching into fingertips. And then all the way into center, well done. So from here, we're going to take a turn onto the head end of your mat. Just making sure you've got your pillow for me. We'll start in a cat pose. We're going to keep your pillow at the head end of your mat. If you have got a block, I would advise to put it about halfway along your mat. We're going to use that in a second. So coming into cat pose, let's take our shoulders above our wrists, our hips above our knees. Try and get your spine in neutral before we begin. Inhale. As you exhale, bring your right knee into your chest. Start to try and align your shin to the base of your pillow. So a little touch of your knee, and then make your left leg long at the back into pigeon pose. So really long left leg. Just checking on your toes and making sure you have a straight line from your heel to your toe, so not flexing into your foot. Flex your right toes to the head end of your mat, so you've got your toes pointing up towards your head. Take a big deep breath in, inhale. As you exhale, come down onto your pillow, supported pigeon pose. So we're going to use this pillow here just to support your upper body. Head either facing down into the ground, or by all means just resting it on the side. You want to go further, we can twist your upper body over to the right hand side. Whenever we come into a yin practice, we hold the postures for much longer than we would in either a vinyasa or a hatha practice. Sometimes up to as long as 5 minutes. We're working on a completely different part of your body. We're working on your joints here. So take a big deep breath in, breathe into your right hip. Breathe some space into that joint, separate all the tendons, all the ligaments, all the bones. And let the pillow support the weight of your upper body. If you do start to get pins and needles in your toes, in your feet, please don't worry, it's okay. Just because of the position that we're in. That will dissipate as soon as we move. Revisiting either that deep diaphragmatic breath, this time counting 4 seconds on your inhale. We'll start to extend it to 5, 6, or 7 seconds on your exhale. Or we can mentally repeat that affirmation of I am calm. Whichever one of the two helps you to stay grounded into the present moment. And with every exhalation, seeing if you can melt down into the floor just a little bit more. Let yourself feel supported. When you're ready, taking a big deep breath in, really slowly coming out of your pigeon posture. So we've been down there for a while. Move as slowly as you possibly can. Give yourself a push into your hands. We're going to take your right knee to the right edge of your mat. So now we're on a 90-degree angle with this right knee. If you have got your block or your book to hand, we're just going to slide that underneath your knee joint. And let your leg rest there. So with 90 degrees, the knee's in line with your ankle, and then your knee is in line with your hip. Again, just let yourself rest down onto that pillow. Chest supported, upper body supported, into half frog. I want you to notice that you're really pressing down through your knee into either the floor or the block. If you are, just let your leg relax. Whatever you have underneath, it supports your weight completely. You want to rest your head on your hands. Take a big deep breath in again, absorbing all of that essential oil, reconnecting to your senses, keeping you present. Any tension in the hips, just asking it to go. Really slowly uncurling yourself. Take your hands underneath your shoulders. Give yourself a little push. Release your right knee and come back into cat pose. I'm going to turn around so you can see from both sides. And we're going to do that again, but on the opposite side this time. Coming back into cat pose, hands underneath your shoulders and knees underneath your hips. Inhale. On your exhale, bring the left knee in towards the chest to the bottom edge of your pillow, trying to align your shin to the edge. Extend the right leg out to the back. Just checking on your foot at the back, making sure we have a straight line from heel to toe, and then flexing left toes to the head end of your mat. Inhale. As you exhale, gently lower yourself back down. Let that pillow support all of your weight. So we can make this stack as high as we need to. If you feel like one's not enough, by all means use two. The more depth you create with the support. The higher you can stay in your posture. And then again, just letting yourself rest there. Breathing some space now into the left hip. Stay with your deep diaphragmatic breath. Breathing through your nose. Take it right down into the depths of your belly. And breathing out through either your nose or your mouth, either 5, 6, or 7 seconds. I'm going to invite you to start from the top of your head and work your way down. Is there any obvious parts of tension in your body right now? Anything in the back of the neck or the head? If there is, can we let it relax and let go? Any tension in your jaw or even your tongue, can we let those relax, release, and let go? Anything in your upper body? If so, just let your upper body melt down into your pillow. completely supported. Any tension in that left hip. You do, I want you to tell your hip that everything's okay, you are completely safe. And that it's okay for it to relax a little bit further. This time we can tune into the sense of sound. What can you hear right now, whether it's in the room or outside of the room? Just an awareness of those sounds. We don't have to do anything with them. We're just fully aware that they're there. Taking a big deep breath in, coming back up onto fingertips, back where we started. Slide that left knee out to the side of your mat this time. Making a 90-degree angle with the left knee this time. Again, if you have a block or a book, just sliding it underneath your knee. Don't worry if not, that's okay. Coming back into half frog. Inhaling at the top. Exhaling, coming back down onto your pillow. And again, just letting the ground, whatever you're using tonight, to support your body weight completely. Any tension in the soles of the feet, can we let that relax and let go? Have we automatically engaged the hip by pressing down into the left knee? If we have, just let your leg feel floppy and soft. Good. When you're ready, taking a big deep breath in, releasing your left knee up and off your block, press down into the palms of your hands, come back into a cat pose. And then I'm going to ask you to turn onto the side of your mat. So we're going to go sideways this time, and we're going to come into a full frog pose. So I'll show you this way to start, and then I may move just to make sure that you can see me. So we're going to take your pillow out in front. Come onto the side of your mat for me. Your pillow's going to go halfway right in the center. So taking your hands underneath your shoulders, your knees back underneath your hips. So this is a deep hip opener, so be really gentle, take your time, use your breath. From here in cat pose, I want you to push your weight forward. So now we've got your shoulders stacked over the top of your middle fingers, right over the tips of your fingers, and then starting to slide or just knee to knee, taking your knees out to the sides for me into full frog. Take a little look down to your feet and flex into your feet. So again, we've got a 90-degree angle in your knees. Flex your feet out to the sides. If you're like me and you automatically want to put a really deep back bend in here, see if you can round just a little more through your spine and keeping your spine straight. Now just hold that there. That might feel like it's enough, and that is okay. Just being sure that we've got a straight line from your knee to your ankle. We tend to make that joint a little bit too closed in this posture, so just making sure our feet are out nice and wide. If you do feel okay, we can use the assistance of your pillow. Just walk one forearm down at a time and let yourself rest there. Full frog pose is a pose that takes a little bit of time, but that is okay. That's exactly what we're doing this evening. Stay with those full deep breaths. Use your breath to signal to the body that everything's okay. Let your nervous system and your breath work together. If it helps, mentally repeating those words, I am calm. Let the body know that everything's okay. If you do still feel like you could go a little bit further in this posture, you can let the whole upper body rest all the way down onto the ground. Let that pillow support your chest. And again, I would advise either nose down to the ground or feel free to turn your head onto the side. Just noticing with every exhalation, can we slide the knees just a tiny little bit further away from one another? Even if it's just an extra millimeter or so. Have the freedom in this posture to move your tailbone up and down towards the ground as well. See where feels best for you, almost like you would in your cat and your cow posture. And then just let your body rest wherever feels best. Softening through the soles of your feet. Full deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Really deep posture for strengthening and lengthening out through your psoas muscle, really important muscle to protect your pelvic health and your lower back. So I know sometimes this can feel quite uncomfortable, but just give it a chance. I promise it's going to benefit your body in so many ways. Good, taking a big deep breath in through your nose. And exhaling out through your mouth. We're going to come out of this posture exactly how we came down. You're resting on your chest. Just press yourself first back up onto your forearms and just hold it there. Please go slowly. Please be gentle with your body. If we're on forearms, we're going to come back up onto our palms, keeping our weight over the tips of your middle fingers. Push yourself forwards, as far forwards as you can. Bring your big toes together. Press down into your hands like you did in that lion flex right at the beginning. And then slide your knees back in together. Well done. Really deep, deep hip opener. We're going to do a counter pose from here just to make sure you feel okay in your hips. So bringing your feet out in front, little windscreen wipers, just take your knees over to the left-hand side, over to the right-hand side, and just repeat that there. Good. Now, if you do want to come further into a counter pose, we're going to keep the sole of the right foot down onto the floor. We're going to drop this left knee into the midline of the body. Now, sometimes this can be a really intense posture for some people. I want you to try and keep your spine tall at the back. We've got the left foot on the outside of the left leg, almost a half hero pose. If you struggle with your knees, be really careful with this posture and feel free to just stay with those windscreen wipers, taking your knees one side, but pause and hold that there, and then over to the opposite side. But if you are coming with me, sole of the right foot down, and then we're going to drop the left knee to the midline of your body, the left foot on the outside, lifting your chest up tall, and then taking a little turn over to the left-hand side. Into the center, we're going to do that on the opposite side. So lifting that left knee this time, keeping the left foot flat. This time dropping the right knee to the midline of the body. Right calf on the outside of the right leg. Use your hands to keep your chest lifted up tall, inhaling, and then taking a turn over towards the right hand side. Good. Coming back into the center, lift that right knee. And then everybody bring the soles of your feet together. Let your knees flop out to the sides into Baddha Konasana or butterfly pose. Now you might find that because we've done that really deep hold in frog, that your hips feel a little bit more open in butterfly than what they normally do. If they don't, it's absolutely fine. We're going to take your pillow and rest it across your knees. Pull it as close into your body as you possibly can. Elbows down, hands together, and touching just onto the tip of your nose, taking a big deep breath in, re-inhaling all that essential oil again. And then as you exhale, press down into your elbows out to the sides and just let your chest fall forward. Tuck your chin down into your chest. You want to relax your hands, feel free, let yourself take that big flop forwards. Now, if butterfly pose is quite a tricky posture for you and you feel like you need a bit more support, you can either use 2 pillows or you can simply fold your pillow in half and just let yourself rest from there. Rather than really stretching, really trying to reach into this posture, we're going to let ourselves just soften and relax. Completely different type of yoga. All the most flexible yogis do yin yoga, I promise. If you do want to take your hips just a little bit further tonight, you can press your palms onto your knees, keeping your elbows out at sharp edges and just using the weight of your upper body to very gently press your knees down further towards the floor. Not too much force, we don't have to really force them down, we're just letting our body assist. When you're ready, taking a big deep breath in, lifting up into your chest. So we're just going to place this back to the head end of your mat, long ways this time. Bring your knees together and give yourself a big hug, and then take a little roll onto your side. Come back into a cat pose for me. Hands under shoulders, knees underneath hips. We're going to take the right knee over to the left hand side. So squeeze your inner thighs together so your both knees are in line with your left palm, and then drop down into your right hip. Again, little counter pose. Hopefully you can feel that all the way on the outside of this hip, all the way on the outside of your right glute. Come back into the center. Right knee back under right hip, and then this time left knee to connect to right knee. Drop your hips down onto the left hand side. Good. Coming back into center for me. Walk that left knee so it's back underneath the left hip. Inhale. As you exhale, we're going to take right foot as high up the outside of the right edge of the mat as we possibly can. We're going to come into a yin dragon pose from here. If you can, roll onto the outside edge of your right foot so you can see the sole of your foot. Little toe down, big toe up. Feel free to just hold that there. Dropping down through the left. Inhale. As you exhale, tuck your chin down onto your chest. Just see if that shifts the sensation that you have in your left hip. Breathe some length, breathe some space into that left hip. See if you can make it a little bit longer. Of course, if you do want to come further into your posture, walk one forearm down at a time. And again, just resting your weight on your pillow. Think more about your body than your ego. If you feel like you're having to create resistance and create tension to hold a posture, I want you to bring yourself out of it slightly so that you can hold that posture there with a little bit of comfort. You do want to come further, however, you can place the right hand on the top of the right thigh and just rest that there. Big deep breath. 4 seconds in. 5, 6, or 7 seconds out. Mentally repeating those words, I am calm. Good. If we're down on forearms, taking a big deep breath in, press back down into your palms. So your arms are straight back where we started. Roll flat onto your right foot, whole soul down onto the floor. Breathe in. As you breathe out, very gently push yourself back again. We've held that hip opener for quite a while. Take your time. Slide your right knee back underneath your right hip. Resetting yourself. Inhale, drop down into your belly, coming into cat pose. Eye gaze forwards, head's an extension of your spine, tailbone to the ceiling. Exhaling around through your spine, tuck your chin down into your chest. And again, inhale, dropping down into your belly, back into cat pose, eye gaze forwards. This time, see if you can reach with the right arm as high up as it'll possibly go, in line with the ear, looking up towards your fingertips. You might feel like you've created a stronger contraction on the left of your lower back. As you exhale, round through your spine, tuck your chin into your chest. This time, hook your right arm over onto the left arm, anywhere but your elbow, almost as if you're trying to pull your arm down through the floor. Take that round through your spine, chin tucked into chest, and then squeeze onto the right-hand side, almost as if you're trying to get the shoulder to touch your hip joint. So now we've created some length on the left-hand side. Inhale and come back into the center. Give yourself a couple of seconds to reset, making sure our wrists are underneath our shoulders, our kneecaps underneath our hip joint. Inhale. As you exhale, stepping the left foot as high and as wide as it will possibly go into Yin Dragon again. Take that roll onto the outside edge, the little toe down, the big toe up towards the ceiling. See if you can see the sole of your foot. And just hold that there. Checking on the back foot, making sure we have a straight line from heels to toe. Inhale. As you exhale, drop the chin down onto the chest. See if that shifts the sensation you feel in the right hip this time. Take your breath all the way down into your right hip. See if you can breathe some space. Keeping the breath super slow if we're wanting to go further, coming down one forearm at a time, letting your upper body rest on your pillow. So Yin is all about that connection to your inhalation, that connection to your exhalation. Breathing with intention. Revisiting that repetition of your affirmation, I am calm. You're holding tension in the back of your neck and in the back of your head. Just let your forearms rest down onto your hands. Let your head feel supported. And if we do want to go just a tiny little bit further, left hand to the top of the left thigh. Just adding in a gentle twist. If we're down on forearms, taking a big deep breath in as you lift your chest back up, pressing down into palms, straight line from wrist to shoulders. Just holding it there for a second. Inhaling again as we exhale, very gently pushing ourselves back. Take your time. Slide the left foot back, left knee underneath the left hip. Give yourself a couple of seconds to reset. Super deep hip openers tonight. Inhale, come back into cat pose. And exhale, rounding through your spine, all the way up to the ceiling. And again, inhale, lengthening into your belly. This time reaching left fingertips up the side of your head in line with your ears. See if you can go a little bit higher. Eye gaze up towards your middle finger. As you exhale, round through your spine, tuck your chin down, wrap your left hand around the right arm, almost as if you're pulling that arm down to the floor. Big round through your spine and then squeeze into the left hand side of your body. Little release down the lower back. Back into center, spine back into neutral, and walking your knees to the edge of your pillow this time. Keep your knees out wide, big toes together. I'm sure you can tell where we're going from here. Inhale, and then exhale, come all the way down, chest onto pillow into extended child's pose. And the tips of your big toes connect and meet. Eye gaze either down to the floor or feel free to take your head onto the side. I really want you to take this opportunity to let the whole body soften and flop. And we breathe some softness into any parts of the body where there's tension, where there's resistance. With every exhalation, just seeing if you can soften a little bit more. Sometimes it actually feels like we have to work harder to get the body in a restful state than what we do in an active state. And if you feel like that's you, that's okay. It's completely normal. It takes a little bit of time. Almost as if you're letting your body thaw. When you're ready, inhale, bring your chest back up tall, back into center. Shift your weight forwards, cross your feet over, take a little sit down, and then extend your feet out in front for me. I'm going to turn around and go this way. So we're going to flex into your feet just to start. Bring your cushion over the tops of your thighs so we can go lengthways. Your pillow should fit in nice there between your tummy and the bottom of your feet. Again, please feel free to use two if you want to create a little bit more depth and have an extra little bit of support. And then relax your feet completely. So normally we'd flex into your feet, we'd lift up super tall through your spine, let your feet relax, take a big deep breath in, and then just let your upper body be fully supported, completely rest. Completely different kind of posture. There's something I was teaching my students yesterday was that if you have any issues in your pelvic health, in your female health, so anybody that gets really bad period pain, has endometriosis, if you're perimenopausal, if you're postmenopausal, this is one of the best postures we can do. It's really soft, nothing too strenuous, but it's stimulating all the right areas whilst simultaneously soothing your nervous system. So really good posture to do. Just let your head rest. Again, feel free to use your hands, assist your own body, and just let your forehead rest onto your hands. Feel free to revisit all of that essential oil, taking a big deep breath in. Really slow release on your lower back as well. Lifting up through your chest, inhale. As you exhale, slide the sole of your right foot in to meet the inside of your left thigh, variation of head to knee pose. This time resting your pillow over the top of your left leg. We'll do the same thing here. Inhale, exhale and fold forwards. If you do want to come further, wrap your hands around the sole of your foot, but be really conscious of creating that tension again in the body. We don't want to strain, we don't want to create stress. We want the body to feel soft tonight. Try and listen, tune into your body. And if you want to take a little turn, rock your weight over to the left-hand side. Keep your right knee down towards the floor and you might get a nice release on your lower back there. Reconnecting with your breath, 4 seconds in, 5, 6 or 7 seconds out. Finish the cycle of the breath that you're on and then lift up tall into your chest. Slide the right foot back to meet the left and then bring the sole of the left foot in to meet the inside of your right thigh. Flex into your right foot and then just let that foot relax. Inhale and then exhale, folding forwards. Just go to wherever feels comfortable for you. Feel free to wrap the hands around the sole of the foot. Keep that left knee down towards the ground. And then shift your way over to the right hand side. See if you can have a play around with your breath. Can you breathe into the back of your rib cage? Breathe into the sides of your rib cage. See if you can even take your breath all the way down into your lower back. Bring your weight back to center. Inhale and lift into your chest. And then exhale, extend both feet out for me. Take a little shuffle down your mat. We're going to come down onto the floor from here. Arms facing up towards the ceiling. Inhale, lift up tall through your chest as you exhale. Start to roll down through your spine. One vertebra at a time until you're all the way down onto the floor. Just let yourself breathe and relax. Straighten your legs just for a second for me. We're not quite coming into Shavasana just yet. Now, if you get a few clicks in your lower back and you feel like your sacrum's all moved, please don't worry, that's okay. We've done some really deep postures. And it's just creating some space to where all of that joint will have been glued up before. So just have a couple of seconds there. And then when you're ready, bring your heels back in towards your body. Big bend into knees. Going to come into bridge pose from here. Keep your hands down on the floor for me. Inhale, press down into the soles of your feet. Tilt your pelvis up towards the ceiling. Squeeze into your glutes. Then come as high up onto your shoulders as you possibly can. Keep your chin tucked in towards your chest. Straight line from your hip to into your knees. So we're not letting the knees completely flop out to sides like we would in reclined butterfly, nor are we squeezing the knees in together. We want a straight line from hip to knee joint. Keep your glutes engaged and press through the soles of your feet. Try not to hold your breath, still breathe. Inhale and see if you can go ever so slightly higher. And then as you exhale, roll back down through your spine, one vertebra at a time, until you roll the weight onto the floor and just hold it there. So we can either come back up into a bridge pose or we can come up into shoulder stand. So feel free, it's completely up to you which one you want to try. If you're in shoulder stand, please be careful. And I know it's difficult, especially when you're watching on a screen, but you should look forwards, look up towards the sky, nose pointing high, just to protect your neck, to protect your throat. And try not to speak or use your vocal cords because you've got a deep compression through your neck. So completely up to you where you want to go. If you're coming back up into bridge, feel free to come back up into bridge now. If you're coming into shoulder stand, bring your knees in towards your chest. Take your fingertips to your bum and your lower back. Give yourself a little flick up. Inhale, lift your hips all the way up as high as they'll possibly go. See if you can straighten your legs as much as you possibly can. And then squeeze your elbows together. Keep your hands on your lower back. Just hold it there if we're in bridge pose. Holding it in bridge. And just letting all that blood flow run back down into the body, really gentle inversion of your spine. If you are in shoulder stand, try not to hold your breath, still breathe. If you're in bridge pose, feel free to gently lower yourself down through your spine, one vertebra at a time. If we're in shoulder stand, take a big deep breath in. As you exhale, bend your knees. Bring your thighs down in towards your tummy, in towards your chest. Hands stay on lower back. Keep yourself supported and then gently roll down through your spine, one vertebra at a time. Till we're back down on the floor. Everybody bring knees into chest. Give yourself a big hug. Press your lower back down into the floor. And then bring the soles of your feet down to the ground, to the outside edges of your mat. So your feet are going to go wide, and then let your knees drop in. Really gentle release on lower back. Kneecaps facing upwards again to the ceiling, so keeping our legs straight. We're going to let the left knee drop into the midline of the body, just like we did in that posture, but just doing it with one knee this time. Let the left knee drop in. If you feel okay, we're going to take outside of the right foot, hook it onto the outside of the left knee, and let your knees drop over to the right hand side. Inhale, come back into the center, lift both knees pointing up to the ceiling, unhook the right foot and take it down to the ground. Inhale. As you exhale, drop the right knee across the midline of the body this time. The right knee to collapse in, and then the outside of the left foot, the outside of the right leg. Inhale, and then exhale, let both knees come down to the left hand side. You're just using the top foot to gently press the bottom knee down. Create some length in your hip. Good, and then inhale, come back into the center. Big deep breath in, unhook that left knee. Give yourself a big hug again. Knees into chest, lower back down into floor. You want to make little circles with your knees, that's absolutely fine. Just take them a couple of circles in one direction and then a couple of circles in the opposite direction. And then placing soles of the feet down on the floor. We're going to move into Shavasana from here. Please don't skip Shavasana. It's probably the most important part of your practice. The people that skip Shavasana are usually the people that need it the most. We're going to take your cushion or your pillow and rest it under your knees. So we've got your knees slightly elevated. If you do have an extra cushion or a pillow, I would highly advise you also place one underneath the back of your head as well. And then just letting hands flop out to the sides, palms of your hands facing up towards the ceiling, feet flopped out to the sides. And then closing your eyes. So when we come into Shavasana, we're creating a position of the body where there's as little muscle activation, as little muscle tension as possible. Take a couple of seconds, start from the base of your big toes. And then progressively work up through your body, through your legs, through the center of your body, through upper body and head. Any obvious bits of tension, just see if you can let it go with your next exhalation. And we soften through the soles of your feet. We soften around the backs of your knees. We breathe some space back through your hip joints. And let the whole lower half of your body be fully supported by the pillow underneath and the floor. We soften into your tummy, just gently breathing in and out, like a newborn baby or a little often that expansion and then contraction of your rib cage as you breathe in and out. Shoulders to melt to the sides of your mat. And then that wave of softness to come down both arms into both hands, all the way into your fingertips. Arms soft and receptive to the ceiling. Any tension in the jaw or the tongue to release. And then letting your pillow or the floor completely take the weight of your head. The whole body to feel soft. And one by one, we're going to reconnect to each sense. Starting with your ability to hear, tuning into whatever sounds you can hear right now, whether they're in the room with you, or if there's sounds outside of the room, or even sounds that are far away. What can you hear right now? Reconnecting to your sense of smell. Is there anything particular that you're able to detect with your nose right now? And perhaps there's nothing, and that's okay too. Connecting to your ability to see. Keep your eyes closed, but what colors or patterns can you see in the backs of your eyes? And again, if you can't see anything, that's okay too. Is there anything that we can taste in the mouth and on the tongue right now? And if not, just bringing our awareness to the absence of taste. And finally, reconnecting to your sense of touch. Place one hand across your heart center, across your chest, and one hand back across your belly. Just noticing how your skin or how your clothes feel under your touch. Taking a big deep breath in. Exhaling when you're ready and taking a roll onto your right hand side. Just making a little pillow underneath with your hand. This evening we've created that lovely slow pace throughout your entire body. Really slow down everything and let your nervous system move into a rest or digest. I'm going to ask you to come back up into a meditation posture, but as you do, do so as slowly as you possibly can. You might want to bring yourself back into the same position that you started in. If you feel like a different position is better for you now, that's okay too. And then just placing your hands together gently in front of your face. And once again, last time, breathing all of that essential oil, all of that delicious scent into your body. And then taking the base of your thumbs to the space between your eyebrows and down into the center of your chest. And then we bow forward and say namaste. So I hope you enjoyed that very slow practice with me this evening. Sense of gratitude from me and for everybody that's catching up on the video as well. So what I would encourage you to do for the rest of the evening is try and maintain that really slow pace that you've created within your body, within your emotions, within your energy. Might be nice to have a nice warm bath after this practice. But try and keep yourself in as slow a moving state as you possibly can. Let yourself take that rest. Enjoy your rest. So I will try and upload this as quickly as I possibly can. If anybody's got any questions, then you just message me, that's absolutely fine. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your evening and I will speak to you all very, very soon.